Imagine watching a rugby match where one team's sheer dominance turns the game into a one-sided spectacle, leaving fans and players frustrated. Yet the victors are hailed as masters of strategy. That's the gripping reality of South Africa's recent triumph over Ireland. And Matt Williams, the outspoken pundit, has plenty to say about it. But here's where it gets controversial. He lavishes praise on the Springboks' clever tactics, while slamming the sport's governing body for letting scrums dominate in ways that ruin the fun for everyone. Stick around, because this debate highlights a divide in rugby that's as old as the game itself, and you might find yourself questioning the rules you thought you knew. Matt Williams, never one to hold back, took to Off the Ball to dissect the Springboks' 24-13 victory against Ireland in that thrilling end-of-year test. He described it as a masterful performance, built on raw power and an unyielding command of the scrum. Ireland's team, under coach Andy Farrell, simply couldn't counter it. They racked up penalties, yellow cards, and even a red, showing just how overwhelming South Africa's approach was. For beginners new to rugby, think of the scrum as an intense huddle where teams push against each other to restart play after a stoppage. It's a fundamental part of the game. But when one side excels, it can control the entire match. Now, this is the part most people miss. Williams didn't just celebrate the win. He zoomed in on the Springboks' smart adaptation to the rules. Take their 7-1 bench tactic, for example, where they loaded their substitutes with forwards. It's perfectly legal, but they used it brilliantly to maintain dominance throughout the game. They're exploiting the laws to their advantage, Williams noted, and who can blame them? At the scrum, breakdown, everywhere, they were superb. This isn't cheating, it's strategic genius, but it raises eyebrows about whether the rules need tweaking to keep things fair. Imagine if every team could swing the momentum like that. Rugby could become a battle of substitutions as much as skill. Williams has long been vocal about his dislike for forward-heavy benches. And after this match, he shifted gears to the scrum itself. Ireland's infringements led to a penalty try and cards for key players like Andrew Porter and Paddy McCarthy. But Williams argues scrums should be less of a game changer. The law book says the scrum is just to restart play, he explained. It wasn't designed to dominate. He reminisced about his playing days when getting pushed off the ball wasn't penalized. It was part of the contest. Today, South Africa masters the long arm penalty, turning scrums into scoring opportunities. But here's a counterpoint. Some fans argue that this dominance is what makes rugby exciting, rewarding teams for strength. Is it innovation or imbalance? Williams thinks it's a disaster with all that pushing, penalties, and cards, turning the spectacle into a slog for viewers at home and in the stadium. The Australian pundit isn't shy about pointing fingers at World Rugby. Despite accusations from South Africa that the governing body is trying to weaken the scrum, the Springboks proved it can still be a powerhouse weapon. Williams wants more action to curb its impact, but he's skeptical. The staff at World Rugby are frustrated and hard-working, he said, but the politicians at the top block change. He believes big nations resist reforms, leading to boring, frustrating games. For context, this mirrors debates in other sports, like how football, soccer, tweaks rules to prevent dominance by top teams. Think offside laws or handball penalties evolving over time. So what's your take? Do you side with Williams, believing scrums need depowering to save rugby's excitement? Or do you think this rule exploitation is just smart play that should stay? Is the blame really on World Rugby's politicians, or should teams like South Africa adapt differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's debate if rugby is heading for a rule revolution or if tradition should prevail.